What's up, guys? Oh, opera. Do your little intro thing. Start up. I hate that. Make a bunch of noise because it did an update. I hate that whenever a browser did some sort of update while you weren't using it, it pops up and it wants to give you a your browser was upgraded. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I was gonna start earlier, but I kept hitting the snooze button on my alarm. I decided to take a quick nap. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just close my eyes for like 20 minutes. And then when 20 minutes went by, like, immediately, it's like, well, that's not enough. So I hit snooze. And then 10 minutes later, I hit snooze again. Oh, I hate it when it gets set to, I don't want to see top messages, I want to see all messages. There we go. So how you guys doing? Oh, this is a good song. Let's see how well. I'm gonna try something real quick. What the hell? Did that just work? That was awesome. No, this is the one time a year I enjoy. We still haven't even gotten to it yet. We just skipped the whole summer. No! I have worked outside. I don't currently. But I will always choose heat over cold, no matter what the scenario. Always heat over cold. Should I turn the music up? I don't know how that comes through for you guys, but... Oh, I don't know. That sounds okay. I try to use my TV as like a judge to be able to hear the balance on everything. I also see people's the chat names are bleeding over into the where is it? There it is. Let's shrink this just a teeny bit. There we go. There we go. Nayuri's outside dead. Okay, I'm gonna play this again just because I heard it make noise. And I didn't actually see what it was, so I want to... Oh, okay, I don't hear it on there. That's kind of cool. I don't think I'll be using that much, but it's also weird because I don't hear it on... I don't hear it through my earbuds. Oh, I can turn it down too. It's a little loud. There we go. Yeah, I was gonna start earlier. I've been tired lately. I just haven't been sleeping like I should. Staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning on days when I have to go out to get back up at 10. And like, I don't get sick. So when I do start to not feel as good, I know it's always because I'm not sleeping enough. That's always the case. Just took that down because I need to log in to Reddit. There we go. I should just be able to minimize Streamlabs and use the little... They have a controller app for like smartphones. And it's actually not too bad. Like, I would much rather just have like a Stream Deck or something like that, but it definitely works. Whew. Speaking of, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. But no, I think a lot of times people get the impression because like what I've done now for the last like 8 years that I haven't done. Oh, was that? That's probably coming through on the mic. That I haven't done things before. Definitely have done a lot of outdoor work or physical labor, like manual labor and stuff like that, but when I fell into service, I was just like, yeah, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. And there's been times too, there's been a lot of times where I've been like, I could just go do landscaping or something and not deal with this crap. There's a work-life balance. Nope. Well, it's been a surprisingly good like week for video games. Week or two. Like there was the surprise launch of the Oblivion remaster, which has been, you know, which has been big. And then there's that other game. I knew it was coming out, but I didn't realize when. For some reason, I thought it was coming in May. But that Expedition 33, it's like Claire Obscura or something like that. It's like, I don't know if it's that's who wrote it or what it's based off. Either way, I want to get more into that. I just haven't spent enough time. But it's like French steampunk-ish. Seems like it's going to be heavy on character development, but like in a really good way. And the gameplay, like you run around like in real time, but then you get into combat, and it reminds me of Persona, but a completely different aesthetic and with its own like twist on combat. When I say I'm not a huge fan of Persona, I just say that meaning like I haven't really dug into it and played it a lot. I played, I think it was like Persona 5 or something, came to Game Pass like a year ago or year and a half ago. I can't remember what it was. And I started it, but it was one, and I liked it, but it was one of those deals where I started it and then, you know, 20 other things happened. And so I never ended up really getting into it. I'm hoping that's not the case with this game. But completely different aesthetic, completely different, like, you know, type of world and graphic style and all that. But the combat itself kind of feels similar to that, except for, you know, with their own original takes on it. So it's definitely cool to see an original game release and get some traction. Alongside having something like the Oblivion remaster release. And I think there was something else as well. I just can't remember. But pretty decent week or so for gamers. Are you still there, Greg? Or did you bounce? I was gonna say I went and looked at your Twitch, saw that you'd done some stuff. Oh, you're good. You're good. I had seen Greg was there. That's Pone Star. He had been working on his his Twitch setup and all that because he was going to be doing a little bit more. Opera's so slow. I mean, I know that Streamlabs is running, but still. Oof, that's really slowing it down. I don't think that's gonna work. I just wanted to look. Customer ordered a $45 New Zealand dollars eye fillet. I'm interested to know what an eye fillet is. It usually comes with Paris mash. I don't know what that is. House salad, Café de Paris, and jus gras. Oh, I have no idea what any of this stuff is. He asked to have it instead on top of our kids' butter and cheese pasta. Whatever, sure, we'll do that for you, weirdo. He goes to pay and says he thinks he was overcharged because he just had a kid's meal with some steak on it. No, you ordered our expensive steak and changed the side. Were you expecting me to charge you for a kid's meal? Oh, goodness. Very different world. Sounds like a fine dining type thing. Very different. Because like this guy's saying, when I was managing, I would happily instruct my servers to let guests know that deviations from the menu were fine, but would make the item ineligible for removal from the check later on. We're happy to accommodate, but we cannot guarantee they will enjoy their dish post-modification. It stopped many obscene dish mods. It also gave me great joy to go to tables and tell them that, no, we will not be taking that off the bill. That's so weird to me. Because like everywhere I work, it's kind of like, have it your way. The old Burger King saying. Wait, where is the... There it is. I have a vast array of allergies and have been known to be intolerable to many other things. What should I order? An Uber. Oh, that looks rough. Let's see what we got here. Whew. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I definitely came on for a bit, even if it's just like an hour or something. Because last week I missed entirely. And the funny part about that is because I was on Twitch. Wait. Yeah, I think I was like streaming Oblivion. It had to be. Had to be Oblivion. Because it had just come out. And then I completely forgot, because I ended up streaming it for like 6 hours and completely forgot to convert to YouTube. Dang. Restaurant I serve at closed with no warning. Had a shift today at 5. We have a screenshot of their like messages. Just says, hey, just so you know, corporate just came in and shut us down permanently. I would assume if that was the case, there was a reason for it. There we go. And the explanation. They're like, what's the tea? Not unheard of for a place to do this, but was it out of the blue that this happened? And sure enough, they weren't making money. Management was a mess. Short-staffed in other locations. Yeah, so... There's usually a reason. They typically don't just shut a place down just cause. So you don't think it would be much of a surprise. So you know one of the things that's kind of annoying about streaming on YouTube? YouTube wants people to be streaming, but they don't give categories. Like, actually, even for videos, as somebody who makes like other stuff on YouTube, the categories don't really cover enough. So like, when you go to stream on Twitch or Kick or basically anywhere else, there will be a whole bunch of categories, including, you know, besides just individual games. Granted, you could just do gaming, which is a category for videos on YouTube. But they also have like just chatting or IRL or, you know, those kinds of things. YouTube doesn't have like any of that for videos in general, but for streaming in particular. Like, what am I literally do all my streams under entertainment, because none of the other categories make sense unless I am actually doing something related to specifically gaming. What's the other one? Like music and movies, people and blogs. Like people and blogs. Like, is that what I would put this under? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not specific enough, and it doesn't even give you there's not exactly it's vague enough that you don't know where something really belongs. So I just do it under entertainment. But even that, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily the correct place to go. YouTube needs, I mean, they've had streaming for years now, many years now, so they've never changed the categories. So it is quite odd. Oh yeah, I was gonna try something. Gotta see if this works, because if not, I need to activate a different bot. Yeah, I don't think the Streamlet or okay. So we're gonna remove that. Oh no, it worked. Oh, okay. No. Okay, so it did actually work. Okay, so I need to try this one. It was just a little late in popping up. Haha, it's working. Hell yeah. And then, what was the other one? Oh. Let's see if this comes through. Oh, nice. And when I do the thing, it doesn't show it either. That's nice. This one is supposed to work too for everyone. Okay, cool. That's awesome. It works. It works. Because it wasn't working on Kick. They worked immediately on Twitch. Then they weren't working on Kick, so I had to go put the other bot on there. So that's cool. So yeah, those commands are, well, the lurk one works for anybody. The other ones are for moderators and above. But cool. Anyways, customers ask me if we cannot clean in their view. I got a phone call 15 minutes before close and asked if we would be rushing them to leave if we came in. I told them as long as they get here before 10 p.m. it should be fine. He asked this question about being rushed again, and I tell him we'll be cleaning up the dining area, but if that doesn't but if that doesn't make you feel rushed, it should be fine. He then says, that's not going to work. We will probably have a shit time. Do you have to clean while we're there, or can you seat us somewhere where we won't see you cleaning? Jesus. I apologized to him and said, closing a restaurant takes a lot of time and we can't afford to wait. They ended up coming anyway at 9:56. I heard him complaining to the girl he was with about the bartender cleaning and the busser sweeping. And of course me going out of my way to put chairs on the tables. I did warn him, I just don't get why they came. Yeah, like, what do you expect? First of all, you were told this was going to be occurring, and you're coming in 5 minutes before the place closes. They're going to be doing their jobs. We had a customer recently complain about servers sweeping when the guests were there 30 minutes past close. My manager explained to the table she wasn't willing to keep us from getting home to our families when we have been closed for 30 minutes now. The people were not close to being done eating. They were taking their happy time. She handed them boxes and their check and offered to take their card and cash them out so they didn't have to be inconvenienced by us closing the closed restaurant. Yeah, I mean, like, the funny thing is about sweeping and cleaning, like, we do that stuff throughout the entire day. Like, if you don't, like, you can have an hour or so where you're, like, super busy, or two. Oops, I just bumped my mic. Where you're, like, super busy, and people eat like pigs. Like, I don't think people realize, like, because hopefully most of the time you go into a restaurant and it's clean. But you will have grown adults that will sit at tables eating, and you'll come up after them with a broom and dustpan, and you're just like, sweep, like you're just pulling like a whole plate of food off the floor. It's kind of crazy. And then don't get me started on the kid tables. Those are a whole other thing. But you have to be able to do that stuff like throughout the shift. Like, not even just when they close. Like in the middle of the day, you sit there and you sweep up the floors and stuff. That's crazy. And then you're going to complain about it. I'm so sorry, we don't want you sitting in dirt. That's terrible. Oops. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I got called to the office because a guy... Wait, whoa. Because I gave a guy bad vibes by cleaning? Boy, this guy over here. Getting some real bad vibes off of him. Well, what was he doing, sir? Well, he was like wiping off the soda machine. I think he wanted me to leave. People, I try to like give leeway, I suppose, on some of these subjects because a lot of these people don't know, right? Like, if you've never worked in a certain field or a certain type of, certain type of work or business or whatever, then you may not know everything that goes on and why things are done a certain way. Like, I get that, right? But yeah, like the biggest thing I think that people don't understand when it comes to working in restaurants or even retail as well. Retail is another one. Right. Right, I do that all the time, like non-stop. I was just, yeah. I mean, imagine just leaving the tables like with all the dishes and stuff and dirty, just so you don't give them bad vibes. But yeah, devil's advocate. Like, I think that that's really important for people to do. There's so many times, like I run that on myself constantly. Run that as if it's like a computer subroutine. But anyways. I run that on myself all the time. When I am upset about something, when I don't like something, when I have an opinion about something, right? Like when I have a view about something, I will kind of run through devil's advocate. always. And I feel like everyone really should, because there's a lot of times where you either resolve the problem in your head before it's a problem, like it changes how you think about something, or at the very least it can change the fact that you want to say something about it, right? Because sometimes it's not that the devil's advocate part makes me wrong, but it makes me realize how someone's going to react to what I say, and that it's not worth the argument. You know, where I go, you know what, they're gonna end up having this argument against me, and I just don't have the time or energy to deal with it. So I'm just not even going to say what I'm going to say. But yeah, there's a lot of times where by using that, I can come to the, you know, they are here to have a good time. Maybe it is somewhat obnoxious to sit and have someone sweeping next to you, making noise and, you know, kicking up dust into the air. Like, I try to like run through why somebody would be upset about something like that. But yeah, in the end, I'm like, but that's also kind of stupid. I'm looking at a spider on my roof, so I'm going to mute my mic. If I do not return, you know what happened to me. What's up, Epic Legend? I'll always think it's funny that you named yourself that, so when someone addresses you, they have to call you an Epic Legend. Exactly, you're not right, but I see how you got there, and it would take too long to explain why you're right. Yeah, pretty much. It'd be like if I was invited to someone's house and complained they didn't take the front door off the hinges since I was invited. The horrors of knocking. Yeah. No, for sure. I'm going to come to this place of business where many other people eat and make a mess and leave food and all these sorts of things, and then I'm going to complain that people are cleaning it up. How you doing, Epic Legend? We're just talking about like work stuff. I forget. What do you do for work? Oh shoot, my phone wants to make noise. Yeah. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I'm just disappointed in the Travis Hunter thing, but everybody feels different on that. Whoa, 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 what happened here? Here we go. Pick leg. Yeah, I'll always say that's a cheat code of a username. Yeah, that was the thing, is I was like super invested in what was going on with the off-season stuff. So the whole new coaching staff and front office and stuff. Super excited about them. Oh yeah, people like to do this. No, Cohen has a really good history, having worked with like Sean McVay in LA with the Rams, and obviously last year in Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield and stuff. I think he's going to be really good for Trevor Lawrence. Why? I don't come into your house and move your furniture, do I? What makes you think that you can do this here? Also, stop turning off the goddamn bathroom light when you leave it. Again, this is not your house. Okay, thank you. It's funny because you can't really just... Well, wait, can you? Do we have a light switch in our bathrooms? I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah, also flush the toilet. This is not a if it's yellow let it mellow situation, you fucking weirdo. Oh no, this is true. This right here, oh my god. Okay, actually I'm gonna see what they have to say, but I think it goes for both applications of this. People don't know what dipping sauce is. Okay, so I'm gonna read through this a bit and see what the whole thing's about, because I've been running into a weird situation when it comes to wings and sauces as well. So I've had more and more people not know what a dipping sauce is. I work at a brew pub that sells wings, and the amount of times in the past month where I've asked people if they would like ranch or blue cheese, and they look at me like I just shot their entire family. People give me the most dumbfounded look and then proceed to think we just soak the wings in ranch or blue cheese as a substitute for other flavors like buffalo or barbecue. An interaction I had tonight. Customer: boneless buffalo wings, meat. All right. And would you like ranch or blue cheese? I asked for buffalo. Yes, but do you want a dipping sauce? I asked for buffalo wings. So no dipping sauce. They smother the wings with buffalo sauce and ranch or blue cheese. This is not even fake. I'm telling you, I can 100% relate, and I bet you this person's not even remotely close to me. No, it's just to dip the wings in. Her husband then proceeds to chime in and have to explain to her even more thoroughly what dipping sauce was. Am I the only one having to deal with this? No, 100% not. Holy crap. This problem, and there's an opposite, like an opposing issue too. But I have legitimately had this happen. When people will come in and they will order wings. So the big one that I run into, this one will happen too, but I will say, like, they'll be like, oh, we want to get, 12 wings, right? I'm like, okay, boneless, bone in. Oh, bone in. Okay. Well, what flavor would you like, right? What does that mean to you? If I ask what flavor of wings you want, do you want them there's a selection. First of all, it's right there on the menu, and no, I have no problem rattling off the flavors. So it's not that. It's not the fact that they don't know the flavors and they want me to tell them, right? They won't say, oh yeah, what flavors do you have? What are my selections? They will say, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? You're ordering wings. What flavor do you want them? Because, there's like barbecue, buffalo, like Nashville hot, sweet chili zing, buffalo ranch, and they'll be actually legitimately confused as to what I'm asking them when I ask what flavor of wings they want. And then sometimes, yes, I get this problem too. Where they'll be like, when I ask them, okay, well, do you want ranch or blue cheese? I have legitimately had people not understand what I was asking them. I'm trying to see if this clip command works in YouTube. Because it worked on Twitch. Can't clip for an offline channel. Okay, that one only works. That one only works for Twitch. I have to set up a different thing. Interesting. What flavor? I want chicken flavored wings. For real. Yeah, it's weird, right? And again, I'm kind of like this person. I thought it was just me. Because I'll have this issue up here as well. So I think it's like people somehow recently have begun to like forget how to order wings. And it's not like they're all a bunch of like Zoomers or something or Alzheimer patients. They're literally just like average normal people who you would assume in the last 15-20 years of their life have ordered wings plenty of times and had people ask them what flavor they want and then what dipping sauce they want for them. Because I've asked them that too. I'm like, okay, well, ranch or blue cheese? And they're like, huh? You have eaten wings before, correct? Like if you're somebody who only eats like naked wings or plain wings, that's fine. Just say that though. When I say, well, what flavor wings do you want? Like, oh, none. I'm good. Oh, okay, cool. I'm still gonna ask if they want ranch or blue cheese, which I would hope they still know what that is. The amount of times this happens is outrageous. I've been at my restaurant since opening. The entitled ones are... I think they're responding to something else, not the original thread. But yeah, that is weird to see someone else have this problem. And then for me, it's like a related issue too. This will come up and then people just not understanding what I'm asking them when I ask what flavor of wings they want. Which, by the way, Nashville Hot is actually pretty good. It's like not overwhelmingly hot, but it's got pretty good flavor. Buffalo Ranch. Buffalo Ranch is good too. I didn't know I liked that until a few months back. Tolerance for heat has dropped dramatically over the years. I don't eat a lot of hot stuff on a consistent basis, but I do here and there still enjoy it. So Buffalo is probably perfect for me because it's just warm enough to be like, ooh, that's warm, you know, but not like overwhelming. And then if you get Buffalo Ranch, because we actually have, where I work, we have it's literally, we just mix buffalo and ranch together and then you coat the wings in that. It's actually really good because you get the perfect combination of it's warm and has that little bit of a cooling effect too. I can still eat really hot, but the level of heat I can enjoy is much lower. Like I don't even enjoy buffalo with ranch anymore. Interesting. Yeah, Buffalo Ranch, I didn't know I liked it until recently. But since I have had it, it now makes perfect sense. But the other day, so on our fajitas, we stopped serving them with guacamole. Like, so you get the boat on the side that has the cheese, the pico, the sour cream, and then it was optional if you wanted guacamole or not. It was included in the price, but it was just like, guacamole is expensive and you don't want to waste it. So we stopped doing guacamole for it altogether unless you order like the bigger cup of guacamole, which is like $3. Guacamole is expensive. But what we put on it now, we actually put a roasted jalapeno on top of the fajita stuff. So if you want to like chop that up and put it into the fajita, which I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Well, the other day one of the cooks, she cut up one of the roasted jalapenos and it's like fully seeded and everything, right? cut up one of the roasted jalapenos and put the slices on a little plate out for us to like snack on if we want. Sometimes the cooks are cool like that. And I'm walking by and I'm like, oh, what is this? And the other like veteran server, she's like, oh, there's some jalapenos for us. She's like, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be pretty hot. I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine. For me, I won't necessarily eat hot stuff like consistently, but I'll almost always try it, at least, just to be like, okay, tried that. That was crazy. I mean, so I do actually like jalapeno, the flavor itself. But yeah, there's a lot of other things I like too when it comes to heat flavors. I like anything garlic. So if you can give me like a garlic hot sauce or something, oof, that's the one. That's the one. Actually, we used to have garlic parm. That was pretty good. It was a little bit. It had a little bit of a kick to it, but it wasn't a lot. It was just enough to feel that it was there. But it was tasty garlic parm. I love it. But I took one of the slices of the roasted jalapeno, and that's basically what it is. It's basically just a raw, not raw, but like like a raw jalapeno, big one too, that they put through the oven. They roast it, and that's like it. And has the seeds and everything, which is like the actual hot part of the jalapeno. And I took a slice, popped it in my mouth, and I started chewing that, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty... Holy shit. It got really hot, like, when it hit the back of my throat. I was like, okay, this is still good. This is still really good. But I need some lemonade or something. Lemonade, by the way, is actually really good for washing down hot heat. At least it was for me. So... I grew up bottling my grandpa's hot sauce for a few years to sell, and he had a garlic habanero. Oh yeah, habanero barbecue that were really good. Garlic habanero, that sounds really good. Yeah, because water most of the time just doesn't do it, because it doesn't like wash your palate or wash it down. And I didn't have access to milk, and I don't like milk in the first place, unless it's like chocolate milk. But the first thing I could think of for whatever reason was like lemonade. So I grabbed a little cup and started gulping down lemonade. It was hot enough, but it was like, it wasn't my tongue burning off, right? Like that kind of heat I'm not super into. But when it hit the back of my throat, it was just kind of like, it made my whole body warm, I guess. Like I legitimately started to feel it like in my chest. I was like, man, this is some warm stuff. But the experience of it, that like it is an acid. It needs a base, neutralize it, sugar, flour, bread, and the acidic lemonade is not great for it. But the sugar, right? But for whatever reason, the lemonade, it washed it down, and it was good. But yeah, I can see that. But yeah, it was. If the experience of eating the hot thing is good, and it's not just a like, oh, it's burning my tongue off feeling, then I'm good with it. I'll try just about anything hot. And so when I ate this pepper, that's what it was like. It wasn't, I think because it was the seeds, and it didn't hit me until like it was in my throat and stuff, versus when you get like spices or something like in a sauce that's way too hot and it's just on your tongue. I don't know. It's just a different kind of experience to the spiciness. Oh yeah, and they were hot. So, like I said, I started to feel it like throughout, like, you know how you sense it like in your head, like it sends those signals and you get like the, I don't know, for me it was like a rush. And then I felt it in my chest as well. So it was one of those things where it's a good experience. It was fun to eat, but it was hot. And I'm like, I don't think I'm just grabbing a raw slice of jalapeno again. Roasted, excuse me. But when it comes to flavors of hot, yeah, I love anything garlic. And we used to have a habanero. but we got rid of that too. Like we simplified on a lot of the sauces because it was a lot of sauces to keep back there for the kitchen. So the garlic parm went, the habanero went. Yeah, probably. Probably. I think that it probably contributes. It's probably warmer, or has a warmer effect than if you just ate it like raw. But I enjoyed it. I wouldn't take it back. I probably just wouldn't do it like that again. More than likely, I would have it in something, right? So now I'm thinking like, okay, the way that felt, it's probably something I could eat more regularly if I put it into the fajita, right? Like it's probably meant to be consumed. If I sliced it up and put it in the fajitas, or if it was like sliced up on a burger, you know, where it's being consumed with like other proteins and stuff like that, versus just by itself. People will tell me about, like, what was it, the one chip challenge? And I remember that being a thing where you could like just go in the freaking grocery store or gas stations and buy this single chip in a pack. Habanero is usually the limit most people go to for heat. I think of that pepper as the dividing line of the max casual heat enjoyers, and the entry gate for competitive heat sufferers. I like the terminology. Dividing line of the max casual heat enjoyer versus the entry gate for competitive heat sufferers. I never tried one, but I have a feeling it probably would not be my favorite way to experience heat, because I like there's what you're talking about with the different just like levels of heat, but there's also like kind of the texture of it too, like how you're consuming the heat that changes it. And I just feel like when it's something like a chip like that, that's the kind where it's just, for me, it's going to be probably just the inside of my mouth burning out, you know. And that's not as enjoyable. To some level, it's enjoyable, but it gets to a point where it's like, nah, this just ain't cool anymore. Excuse me, my bill is wrong. Quote, I didn't have an iced tea with my riblets. Riblets actually sound pretty good. Guest right next to them. And I was supposed to have an iced tea with my riblets. Two of my guests with less than average problem-solving skills, circa 2025. I saw this on TikTok, LMAO. It was person 1. I didn't order this side salad with my steak. Person 2. And I'm missing a side salad with my steak. Server switches plates. Real thing. I've had people eat their entire plates before realizing it wasn't what they ordered, then make a big deal about us needing to fix it. Turns out they switched seats before the food came out and they just ate whatever was plopped in front of them. No, it's totally true. Like this, the OP one. This one, it's like, yeah. So I'm pretty sure you've got the wrong ticket. Like, maybe hand it to the person sitting across from you and take theirs. I mean, I've had to actually be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, and just literally just take the tickets from them, switch them, and hand them. There you go. Now you've got the right one. If I had a bit more patience, I probably would have said, I'll fix that for you, collect the bills in hand. That's literally what I've done. I've done that. This complaint, okay, so this one, I'm a little more, talking about the devil's advocate thing, I'm a little bit more neutral on this. It always annoys me that people cannot remember what they ordered 15 minutes ago. Yes, you would hope that would be the case. However, that's also your job. Like, that's what you're there for. You're the one who wrote it down. You're the one who put it into a computer or whatever it is. So now if it's you remember it and you're telling them something and then they're like not computing, that's different for sure. My best was like a 12 top, split 12 ways, and one woman calls me over. Her, I didn't order this gratuity. Me, that's the tips added onto the check for larger parties. Like 30 seconds later, her, wait, why do I got to pay for it? It's on her bill too. Points to her. I go out to eat so I don't have to remember or think about it. No, I mean, I get that for sure. My thing is, you would think that if you ordered something, you would remember what you ordered, right? Because it was your action you took. It was the food you decided you wanted. So you would think someone would remember that. However, yeah, it's my job to do that for you as well. Like, you know, that's part of what's going on here. But if I have had times where people get their food and they're like almost confused as to what it is they've gotten, and I'm like, well, sir, you ordered the Chipotle Fresh Max bowl, you know, or whatever. It's like, and they would be like, not computing this, like not remembering what the heck they ordered, or no, I ordered this. I'm like, I understand. I can hear things wrong occasionally. It happens for sure. Like, but when it's a more obvious situation, then I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I heard that wrong. You obviously wanted something different than what I put in. But if it's something that's like similar enough, I don't know. I just again, my job is to listen to you and put your order in. So I'm pretty sure I remembered it correctly. I did everything correctly. But both sides can make mistakes. But yeah, it is their job. Aw, man. Taco Bell does sound really good. Taco Bell does sound really good. When I'm done with this, I'm just gonna have some oatmeal cookies, I think. Oh yeah, oatmeal cookies and chocolate milk. So this person's like, I didn't order this gratuity, and they're like, that's the tips added on the check for larger parties. 30 seconds later, her, wait, why do I got to pay it? It's on her bill too, points to her friend. Me, it's a set 18% of the value of your check, what you ordered. Her, but it's on all of our checks. Me, losing it. Yes, everyone here has to pay 18%. If your bill was $10, the 18% would be $1.80. If you spent $100, it would be $18. Same for the person next to you. They have to pay 18% of what their bill is. Her. Oh. I guess every person has to have their first time ever dining at a restaurant. We used to meet up at Taco Bell, hang out. Yeah. Taco Bell, man. It's been a while since I've been like anywhere for anything. Unless it's like going like to town with my mom or something when she goes to do to get her groceries or make a run somewhere. But yeah, it's been a lot of like I go to work and then I come home and I chill. I mean, on some levels it's not too bad because it means I get home and I either get in my dinner or my chill time, and then I can stream or, you know, whatever it is I'm going to do. And then on my days off, I get up and I can like pretty much start working toward doing my workouts and stuff. I'll swing by and pick you up for some Taco Bell. Yeah, if it wasn't already late and I gotta work, so that, like I said, my not my big focus, but something I definitely want to do is try and get a little bit better sleep this week. So I'm still gonna be doing my streams, all that kind of stuff, but I am definitely trying to cut them off. Like this stream is a little bit different. It's an earlier one because you don't get caught up in gameplay or something like that. But my other streams, unless I like randomly have some kind of like big audience going, and there's a bunch of interaction and stuff like that, I'm trying to cut them off at like midnight so that I can go like get a shower, chill, wind down, and actually be to sleep at like. Normally, I'm trying to go to sleep at 2 to 3 in the morning, which is fine considering when I get up for work. Not 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It sounds like quitter talk. No. I just know that the way I'm feeling right now is 100% because of sleep. Because I don't... Whoops. That probably made a lot of noise. Nice. That is not what it says on anything I have. Let me check. Never mind. It says that on my TV. It does not say that on my Streamlabs or anything. It says like 3. Ah, my ears. Yeah, for some reason it'll just show 3 for me. 3 for me. Get it? 3 for anyway. Oh, I bumped my mic, so I assumed it made noise. Yeah, I don't really get sick. Like, I don't pick up colds or flus or any of that kind of stuff. Combination of like constant exposure and, you know, that also the immune system and stuff. But I know when I start feeling under the weather, it's like a fatigue thing is what I'm feeling. And I know that if I don't start getting better rest, that's when I'm going to start getting sick, because then the fatigue is going to lead to my immune system being compromised. So, wait, what? Can I get you anything else? $1 million? Say no more. I have something for the next 100 people that ask for $1 million. Best 10. Oh, best $10 I've ever spent. That would actually be clever. If where I worked, if we actually wore like regular aprons, I'd probably carry something around like that in my in one of the pouches and hand it out. Can I get you anything else? $1 million? Oh, here you go, sir. Probably think it was the cleverest thing ever. Cleverest? Most clever. Just remember, if you sleep for 8 hours a day, you are sleeping away 25 years of your life if you live to 75. If you stay awake, you can sleep for hundreds of years when you die. That is true. I wonder if any of them will pull an Uno reverse and leave it as a tip. Oh. My dad says $1 million or a bag of money every time we go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you always get those people. They got jokes. Best thing, though, is just to play along with it. $1 million? Well, sir, if I had $1 million to give you, neither of us would be here now, would we? Some kind of crap like that. Some kind of crap like that. They love it. People that make those kinds of jokes, they eat it up. I actually, it was probably a few weeks ago, I had a guy, older guy, that was like there by himself. He said that. I was like, you know, if I had $1 million to give you, we'd just probably go chill on an island for a week or something and then figure out the rest. I'll be sure to remember you when I find it. Yeah, huh? No, sir. We ordered our food ahead so we could eat here. I mean, you mean you placed a takeout order and decided to take up a table in my section while still wanting full service in order to avoid tipping your waitress? This was a 6-top, by the way. Get out of here. I've seen that before, just not like that drastically. Usually it would just be people who, they came in, thought they were going to order to go, and then they're like, you know what, let's just sit over here and eat. They didn't ask for service or anything. They just wanted to use a table to sit and eat. And then they were gone. Well, not like to buy an island, just like, it's definitely enough money to go spend some time on an island. Like, if I had the $1,000,000, then yeah, we could go rent a. I've done that, but at like McDonald's. Yeah, it's a little bit different there for sure. But as long as they're just they came in, they ordered to go, they waited, they got it, and they're like, you know what? We don't want to go through the driving this all the way home, having it be nasty and soppy and whatever by the time we get there. Let's just sit down and eat it. You know, that's fine. Got no problem with that. Especially if they're not like asking for you to do anything other than maybe grab them a drink, you know, or something like that. Then, you know, that's cool. No big deal. But yeah, if they specifically, like that one said, they ordered it ahead so they could eat it when they get there. Nah. Last night was pretty bad for me. It was so freaking busy, we had to call more people into the kitchen off schedule by 9 p.m. Anyway, after my 3 to 4 lost count, after my 3 to 4 of my mental break, I hate it when people don't know how to type stuff. Anyway, after 3 or 4 of my mental breakdowns, I don't know. I had a table of 2 men come in, less than 30 before last call. Obviously, I was very tired. It was written all over my face. Mind you, over the past 2 days, I have been up at 8 a.m. due to prior commitments, while simultaneously going to bed between 2 and 4 a.m. Why? Because I'm a closer whose bar doesn't close till 1 a.m. I work 4 nights out of the week. I close on all my shifts. My closing partner also left me via doctor's note, so I was closing front of house and back of house alone. I digress. They asked for 2 beers, fine. Seat 1 looks at me. I've completely lost the ability for eye contact or focus, except for just looking straight ahead or down and autopilot the last hour. He asks, "What's wrong?" Snaps back to reality. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just exhausted. My apologies." "Has it been a bad night?" "Oh, yes, sir, but the tunnel light is there. I've just been up since 8. It's currently 12:15. I still have 2 hours worth of closing. Last call in 15 minutes. And then he looks at me. "I've been up since 4 a.m. My daughter has been sick. I've lost $700 in betting. I'm still losing money, but hey, your night could be worse than mine." My eye twitched, and I walked away. Edit. On top of that, they stayed till after close, and while I was resetting tables, sweeping, and cleaning, they kept stopping me for questions as to when, 1, they would see the charge on their account, and 2, the kitchen's still open. We are closed. Leave. This one was called One-Uppers. Like, sometimes, this is like the case with anything, not just in, like, when you're talking to someone in a restaurant. Just in general, sometimes you don't have to, like, one-up everybody. You've been gambling while your daughter is sick, and I've been up working to provide for my daughter. And then just look at him pointedly so that he knows to fuck all the way off and then some. But, like, sometimes people think that they're telling you something to relate to you, which you can do that, though, without this, but hey, your night could be worse than mine. Like, somebody just told you, like, you asked them what was wrong, right? Exactly. There's a time and place for one-upping or one-downing. Either way, 'twas not it. Yeah. There's a way you could respond to something to try and imply, like, "Oh man, that's crazy. I'm sorry you're having a bad night." But you, like, asked the person what was wrong. They told you they were exhausted. You asked again, "Has it been a bad night?" And then they're like, "Yeah, you know, I've been up since super late or super early, and it's like super late. I still got this much time to finish up." So you invited somebody who wasn't making their problem yours to tell you about their problem, and then you're like, "Oh, that's not as bad as mine." And that's like never worked for anybody. Like, it's never made anybody happy. That's where you say, "I know how that feels. Sorry about it. I've been through shit like that." Yeah, some kind of just, ooh, yeah, I've been there. That's you know what? We'll try and get this done as quick as possible, you know? Like something, right? Where to go to go sit? Not Olive Garden. Yeah, like, you can basically just empathize with a person, tell them, like, man, that sucks, or, you know, oh, I'm sorry. We've all been there, totally get it, you know, show somebody that you relate to whatever their problem is, somehow. But, you know, that you don't turn around and then rattle off whatever was wrong with you, and why that's more so than them. Applying for a job as a server. I recently dropped off my resume to a restaurant that is hiring, but noticed they also have a job posting on culinary agents. I'm planning on applying there too, just for good measure. Wondering if I should mention it in my cover letter. Oh. I don't know. The vast majority of restaurants that I see anymore just have you apply through Indeed or their website. Just don't apply at all, Garden. Just don't. Me eating my shift meal between rushes, like. I see people do that. You know what's crazy to me? I can't come in and eat. And if I'm doing a double, which unfortunately the last week I had to, and then this week I'm scheduled to as well, I'd call that forced commiserating. Yeah. Yeah, Indeed sucks, but again, many places that's like they're gonna tell you, oh, go to Indeed, go to our listing on Indeed, or they're gonna send you to their website. Like almost nowhere does paper applications, or like where you just come in and get an interview or whatever. It's incredibly rare, unless it's like a mom and pop type place. But even a lot of them, they do their stuff through Indeed because they just want an email to come in. Oh, you're good. But yeah, forced commiserating, yeah. It doesn't work. It almost always just makes the other person feel like you're trying to one-up them. Like, you asked me what my problem is, and now you're just trying to make it sound like, oh, it's not that bad, but not in like a good way. It's not that bad because your problems are so much worse than mine. Thanks. That doesn't help me. This though, this could be true. It's hard for me to relate to. I see it. I've seen it for years, but I don't eat like that during my shifts. I don't eat breakfast, and I typically avoid eating until dinner time. I prefer not to eat all day. And so I usually just have like a Celsius, and then possibly like a banana, or yes, an orange, but that's basically it. And especially if I were working a double, a lot of people, they want to make sure they get that break between shifts, and they go eat, they scarf something down, and get back to work. And I'm like, I can't. Just keep me on all the way through. Because if I stop and take a break, especially stop to eat something, I'm probably just going to want to take a nap, or I may just not clock back in. I may not come back. So you better just keep me working. But we have some of these little... You'll always know who's going to come in and immediately start eating. And it's these certain little chicks. But we'll... Anyways. But they will come in, and like as soon as they clock in, or right before they clock in, they will make sure that they order a burger and blah blah blah, and put it on the rack around the back by prep, where they can keep their food, and sit there and just scarf. And I'm like, you wonder why you're not losing any weight. I used to stuff down a 7x7 at Steak and Shake overnight while working all night, but yeah, no, I refuse to take a break. I mean, that's a little different though too. If you're working overnight as well, you gotta have food at some point. But if you're working in a regular business time frame, even if you're working nights, well, maybe you probably ate during the day, or whatever. I just find it weird to run around at work trying to, in between work, try to scarf down food, or take a break, go just blah, 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 and then come back to work. Like, first of all, you're just gonna be running around with a full stomach that you ate way too fast. And second, yeah, if I stop to sit down and have a meal or have food or something while I'm working, outside of like the random fry or chip that you steal, if I do that, I probably, like, I tell the managers, like, if you have me on a double, you better just leave me on working. Don't cut me to take a break. Because if you do, I'm gonna go sit down, and then I'm gonna probably be like, I'm done. I'm not getting back on. Got there 11, didn't have to leave. Didn't leave till 8. My first only meal was usually between cars at 3 a.m. Yeah, stop to sit down. Yeah, there's no way. Ooh, excuse me. To me, it's just like, it's not something you do when you're working in a restaurant, like, or, you know, fast food obviously is a little different too, but like when you're working in a restaurant, it's just so weird to me, the whole concept of splitting between, like, taking a break between shifts. Like, no, just leave me on. I will not come back. I was thinking about that, what was it, Saturday? Remember I was complaining because they had me on that for that night shift thing again, which they do again this week. Supposedly it's temporary. They're working to hire people to fill those extra sections that they have to have now for Friday and Saturday nights, and then it'll go away. And they also are gonna make sure to, like, if it's slow, because there are people that they definitely want the hours. They don't want the extra people on. They're like, no, I want to make money. So if it's slow enough, within a couple hours of starting the night shift for those days, they are like, all right, you're cut, you know, like getting people out, right? So that's good. But still, I basically told them, I'm like, if you cut me, I'm probably getting in my truck and driving home, and I'm not coming back, because I'm just gonna be like, I'm done. But they are trying to be smart about it, because our management team is pretty good, and they understand that there's a bunch of people that work there that do not want 4 table sections, right? I don't even want a 4 table section. I would work with it just fine, especially during busy shifts, but I also work during the days primarily, you know, outside of this crap that's going on. So for me, yeah, I'm going to work an 8 or 9 table section, because that's how I'm going to make money, because then I'll consistently have 4 or 5 tables rotating somewhere in that 8 to 9, and occasionally the whole thing fills, and then boom, that's like my it's like a boom or bust situation, right? That when all those tables fill up for like an hour on a Thursday or Friday afternoon, cool, that's where I'm making money. But then it like trickles down to where there's not really anything, and I still have my whole section to get sat, a couple tables here and there. If you only have 4 table sections, then you're at the mercy of, well, is somebody going to want to sit somewhere else? And then I only get 1 table, and then the person next to me in that section that would be mine gets another table instead of me having 2, you know? Yeah, except at Olive Garden, because the work per table at Olive Garden is so much higher than everywhere else. Part of it is also just how you do things, right? Yes, we have runners, and also other servers are supposed to help too, but we have runners specifically to allow us to work more tables. But, you know, we use the tablet system and all that too. So when you work at a traditional order taking at anywhere that does this, you know, you stand there with a pen and paper and you write everything down that they've asked for, and then, oh, you might have to go to the table next to you because they've got a request, or you just got sat and you got to greet them, or whatever it is. By the time you finally get back over to the computer to start putting in something like the drink order for a table, it might have already been 5 minutes. And that sounds like a short period of time, but it's a lot. In the perception of people sitting in a restaurant, 5 minutes. Most people think it's been 20 minutes when it's been 5. It's crazy, but anyways. And you have all these other tasks you got to do. So by the time you actually finally get around to putting in a drink order, or standing there, reading your notes, putting in the orders, modifying this, that, the other thing, and then finally sending it in, it might be 5 to 10 minutes after you took the order, right? And so you're a lot more limited in how many tables you can actually take. The fact that we stand there with a tablet And as they order, oh, you're getting a Coke, I tap Coke, they're getting a Sprite, you tap Sprite, they're getting sweet tea, you tap that, oh, you want lemon, boom, modify lemon, there's your 3 drinks, send, right? So that is already on a screen in the back for a runner or anybody who sees it to start throwing together those drinks. And I can just stand there and be like, all right, so do you know if you want to get any starters? Are you ready to order? Etc. And you're sitting there taking the rest of their order. Or if they say, no, we need some time, cool. I can go bounce over here to this table, possibly greet another table and start the same process. Meanwhile, here comes my drinks coming out to that table. So those people are not going to sit there for 5 to 10 minutes waiting for the first item to arrive, right? And I'm standing at this next table already taking their drink order, sending that back, and then, oh, they're ready to go ahead and order their food. So I take their order, put it through, and I can sit there in the tablet and do holds, modifications, all that kind of stuff. So I can set everything up to be properly timed. Oh, they're going to get chips and salsa, they're getting the soup with their meal, and then they're getting these 2 burgers. Okay, so I tap the burgers, hold for 2 minutes, set that, and then send the chips and the soup through. So now I know this table is basically set. Their drinks are already going to be coming out behind me or while I'm still standing there. The chips and the soup are already put through the back, so I know that that's about to be prepared in queue. Their food order is already placed and is now timed and ready to go, so that at some point it's not automatic. You still don't want to check things, but like it's kind of automated. Now the table over here that got their drinks and wasn't ready to order, I literally just step right back over to them and take their order, because I know that this process is already set in motion. And so you can keep just doing this back and forth, while in between, when you have time, you run back, you grab some of your own stuff, you run food, etc. Oh, hang on. My music stopped. There we go. The fact that Red Lobster filed bankruptcy before Olive Garden went a bust. Wait, hang on a second. Read that. When a box of pasta is 99 cents, it's crazy. The margins are better, I get, but the fact that people will still pay $30 for some noodles is insane. Well, yeah, I mean, it's more than noodles. The problem is Olive Garden is also incredibly popular for their other things. Well, for everything in general. And Olive Garden is part of Darden, which is also a lot bigger and has money all over the place. Red Lobster has always been like poorly ran, and the fact that it's seafood specifically, like, yes, they have other things, but that also does kind of corner them into a certain niche. Red Lobster was only part of Darden for like a year. They had bought them and then like immediately turned around and got rid of them again. Yeah, Red Lobster was part of a different group or was independent or something like that. And then I remember it was like right around the time that it was right around the time that like I started there, so probably the same time that they had sold them. But they had only owned them for like a year. Like it was one of those things where they like bought them and then they were like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, we're not interested in doing this, and they were out. So, but it was it's a certain niche. Seafood is incredibly popular, and there's a lot of places that do seafood, right, very specifically, but they also they know they're catering to a specific niche, right? And they also do it really well. Like, good reputation, good branding, the food is good, whatever it is. Problem with Red Lobster is they had like a period of time where they were super popular. Like, it feels like it was the 90s. But that was and maybe the 2000s, but like when everybody was constantly dining out, it was just like a big deal. But trying to be a mainstream restaurants all over the place, seafood place, you might have locations that are going to be very successful in certain areas, and then others where it's just not going to work out. And I feel like most people, when like here, for instance, Red Lobster and Olive Garden are like right next to each other. I feel like a lot of times when people drive by that, they're going to be like, well, I'm going to go to Olive Garden because you have more options. Yeah, that, and it was also just a cultural thing. Like, obviously people are eating out now, but uh I just remember a time like in the 90s and the 2000s where like going out places was culture, you know, whether it was shopping, malls, movies, restaurants, etc. It was part of it. Oh, look, Olive Garden has an extended parking lot that's being unused. Pretty much. There was many times where the Red Lobster parking lot was essentially uh overflow parking for us. It's kind of crazy, actually. But so like on that subject though, Olive Garden has seafood, right? You know, they'll have shrimp scampi, they have salmon, they would do special things. What was it? They did the crab, the baked macaroni crab. Yeah, instant communication. Yeah, you had to like go places to see people and meet people and stuff too. Um, so I think if somebody is looking at the two places, and especially if they're in a group or a family, unless everyone specifically wants seafood, it actually was pretty good. And I don't actually like lobster or crab, but that macaroni was really good. God, I remember like serving that stuff to people in the booths in the 80s or the 30s. I have not been in that restaurant in like 2 years. I think I went there once to like I think I went to visit the new manager and ask her about a reference, and then I stopped to see Kevin. But like, yeah, it was like at least 2 years ago, and then that was, it had been like 2 years since I had been there after I left. So chicken Alfredo is good, but I got to a point where what I actually preferred was the carbonara, because I felt, and it back, there was a time when we had cavatappi there, and cavatappi was like, if I got the Alfredo, I would exchange the fettuccine for cavatappi because it holds the sauce better. So, stupid stuff you learn when you work at a place like that. Like, oh no, this pasta pairs better with this sauce and blah 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 blah. Chicken Alfredo, yeah. Yeah, that was always my favorite, like growing up when we went there. I always wanted chicken Alfredo. And then after working there a while, I started ordering it with the linguine instead of the fettuccine. And then later when I learned that the cavatappi was really good, I started getting it with that. But then I like the carbonara because that's basically Alfredo, but with bacon. It's like bacon Alfredo. And then it had the spaghetti noodles, whatever. Surf and lawn. But yeah, if you're going out with like multiple people, whether it's friends or family or whatever, if you don't specifically want seafood dishes, and especially like the kind that like Red Lobster offers, you're probably going to go to Olive Garden because, well, the person who wants seafood can still get something seafood or seafood-ish, and then there's other options, you know, for the other people. All kinds of different pasta meals and other stuff. I actually liked getting, they did the what did they call it? The giant chicken parm, or I can't remember what they called it. Yeah. Yeah, we went there. I think it was a couple times actually for the endless shrimp. And that's probably about like the one reason I would go there, to be honest. Cuz like I said, I super mega parm. But yeah, I don't know if you remember that. They had the big chicken parm where you remember the long plates? It was like as long as those. It was like one giant chicken parm patty thing. And yeah, it was a limited time deal. And I think they brought it back like twice. But essentially it was just like instead of the regular chicken parm where it's like the patty, the one breaded piece of chicken, it was a big like patty of it essentially. Like, and I don't want to call it patty, but like, you know, like a big piece of chicken parm, like 3 times bigger than a regular one. I liked getting that, but ordering it instead of with the marinara sauce, ordering it with Alfredo sauce. And oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. Oh man, I'm remembering the tour of Italy. Ah man, I should go back to Olive Garden some point and like eat there and just to remember it, and then be like, cool, I don't have to do that again for 5 years. Oh god, yeah, yeah, endless pasta bowls, cleaning up vomit, yeah. And it was insane too to imagine the amount of food people would sit there and consume because they can, right? Because your initial dish was the size of a regular pasta bowl there, right? And then after that, they gave it to you in like essentially refill portions of like a soup bowl, essentially, right? And people, and I'm sorry, the original portions were enough. So if you wanted to have one of those and you're like, yeah, let's enjoy this, have a second one, you know, or a refill or whatever, and then get it to go. I don't know. I sure. There were people that would come in there and get 4 or 5 refills on that crap. And I was like, man, there ain't no way we're making money on that. And they weren't set up very well. I remember they would always try to set up to make it efficient. They'd be like, okay, we're going to have, they would have a second, or an additional cook or expo or whatever on in the back, and they would like put a lane in the window that would be specifically for the pasta bowl refills, and like that guy's job, that's all he did was like put together the pasta refills and put them up in the window. And it was like a good idea, but they could never execute it well. People really overestimate the amount of pasta they should eat, and then salt from the sauce makes them thirsty, so they drink a lot of water or soda, and then they die. It was the absolute worst promotion they did, and they kept doing. Yeah, well, it brought people in, that's for sure. It definitely brought people in. But yeah, the amount of people that would sit there and just get refill after refill after refill, and you would look at them like, where the hell are you putting this? Into the corner. Well, yeah, they were often probably on their way there soon anyways, if you would see them. It feels like such a long time, and it kind of well, it's not 2025, so it's been 3 years, just over 3 years since I worked there, and it feels like a decade ago. Like the meaning of life. And not only that, but it feels like, because I worked there for 5 years, and that 5 years feels like it was a decade plus. Like, it just feels like such a long time ago, and it feels like it was such a long time of my life, like a long period that I was there. But like, I guess, yeah, when like, I've lived 3 entire lifetimes since. Yeah, well, okay, so I was there from 2017 to 2022. So I was there for 5 years, and then I've bounced around multiple other restaurants since then, and I've been at my current restaurant for just over a year and a half. worked there for 3 years and it feels like a weekend. No, nah, not for me. Like I have so much that went on there, so many interactions, so many, like it just feels like such a big period of my life. And I mean, I guess 5 years is a good chunk of your life for sure, but I don't know, it just feels like so much. April 2017, March 2020. Oh yeah, so you just never came back from COVID. Okay, yeah, I remember. Yep. I'll never forget that day. I think I've told the story multiple times, but showing up 20 minutes late to work because I was in a I don't give a fuck era when it came to that place. And walking in, still putting my apron on and everything, looking at the who's who, and Diane being over there in her little kitchen apron working the line, or not the line but the alley, and she's like, "I don't even need you to clock in. Just go ahead and go home." And I look up at her, and she goes, "I'm not punishing you because you're late. Just it doesn't make any sense to have you clock in. We're already way too slow, so just go home." I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." So I was like, "Screw this, fine by me." So I wasn't gonna make any money anyways. So I go home, and like literally the moment I got home is when I got the message in crowd that said that, "Oh yeah, we're all shutting down for COVID." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So what's this war zone thing?" At night. Yeah, I remember you getting there. Of course, a month later or whatever it was, the end of April, I think Russia said this. What's this war zone thing? But like the end of April, I remember Ron calling me and being like, "Hey, did you want to come back to work?" I'm like, yeah, I'm very ready. I'm super ready. I was like so ready to go back to work. And so I was like the first server back in the building. There was another guy, and you never knew him, thankfully, because I think you would not have liked this dude. I didn't either. He was a little weird towards some of the female staff, including my ex. So he was, but anyways, I'm so sad. That was interesting. I wish I had been there for it. I showed up, I think it was like half an hour before I got in that morning, because the district manager was still there having to run the place because, you know, his GM just walked out. But I came in, and there was I don't remember his name. It'll probably come to me, but he was like the shorter, like Hispanic prep guy that worked in the back, all the way in the back. He had glasses, and I remember I walked in, clocked in, and he goes, "Oh, it's all your fault." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, it's your fault. Ron left." I'm like, "What do you mean Ron left?" He's like, "Yeah, he just walked out." I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? No. He was a short, like, Hispanic guy, and he had been there for forever, and he worked prep. I cannot remember his name, even though I talked to him all the time. He was pretty cool. Yeah, I know. I heard that too. The way the music cue came on there. But yeah, he basically was it D. It wasn't not DJ, not DJ. That was somebody else. Why can't I remember the dude's name? Anyways, but he was like joking with me, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Ron left." He's like, "No, he just quit. He walked out." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went and found out that, yeah, that morning, the district manager had come in and was harping on him about something. And I remember, like, Ron was already kind of over it on a lot of things. And so the district manager came in and was giving him a hard time, like yelling at him in the office or something. And he was like, he's basically like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And he literally just walked out. He had been there for like 20 years. But he ended up going, and like, he's doing okay. Granted, the last time I seen or heard anything was years ago. After that, though, he had gotten a job running some place over on the coast. I liked Ron. I liked. He was probably the only one of them. I mean, I liked Al when I first started there, the first couple years, and then in particular because of COVID. I mean, it took a toll on everyone, but I think because of the management staff, what they did for that month that we were shut down, like for a while they were basically running the whole place themselves from open to close doing the to-go stuff. And then they did get help in there. They got some of the to-go staff to come in and work with them, but they were still, it was all hands on deck. So it was like the entire management staff was there open to close during that whole thing. And then coming back from COVID was a lot of adjustment for like everybody in every position, because there were so many different things to deal with and stuff. So by the time he finally walked out, I could see why. Oh, Diane. Oh, boy. She was something, that's for sure. Yeah, she ended up getting fired. She ended up getting fired. I wouldn't be surprised if it had to do with her alcoholism, but... The funny thing was, I found out later that, like, where she had come from, she had been fired for some drinking stuff. To yell at us for not cleaning good. Well, and there's a lot of problems with that restaurant structurally and as well too. Like, who the hell puts carpet? Like, there might be a restaurant where carpet works, but who the hell puts carpet in a place where everyone's running around cheese graters, and those things are just dropping random bits of cheese all over the place. If not, like, somebody drops one, it gets in the... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you use those little cleaning things on the... It doesn't matter. The cheese is in there. The oil is in there. It's there. And then that stuff gets walked on all day. It gets mashed into the floor. And just ends up stinking so bad. So bad. Like, there was, like, not just the cheese, right? But just, like, the fact that you have carpet. The cheese has entered the carpet. Yeah, not just the cheese though, but the fact that you have carpet in a restaurant. There's liquids, there's food particles, there's just everything off of people's shoes. It doesn't matter what it is. When people vomit on the floor, like, all that stuff builds up over time. Not only that, but like, it's a humid state, so you're gonna have moisture and all that kind of stuff too, and you're gonna have lots of bad smells over time, and it's gonna be gross. And that building was just outdated from the time it opened, because I'm pretty sure that they didn't build that for an Olive Garden. I'm pretty sure they took it over from something that existed previously and made it an Olive Garden. So, bad place to try and maintain, keep clean, keep operating, and not have the bathrooms overflow. It is crazy. I can't imagine what that place is like now. Like, did they ever do anything to fix it? Like, no, probably not. But yeah, I got on to Alan Kim for not checking on Buster's Clean because I worked 3 closes in a row. Not only daily at the start of each of those. And, came back and it was... Yeah. I remember it got to a point when I was still busing, partly because I wanted to make the money. Because, you know, that whole thing, like, you got to get them off a tip share. But the other part was, like, I just wanted to make sure it was done right. And so if I was on the east side, or not east side, the west side closing, I would often try to get the east side busser. And I also straight up told the DM He was wrong about host. Oh god. But like, I would try to get the east side person sent home as quickly as possible. Be like, look, hey, just close the drink station and flip the chairs and get out of here. You know, something like that, right? Or I would go over there and help them flip the chairs. When I didn't have something to bus on my side, I'd be like, here, I'll flip your chairs. Go shut down the drink station. And then they could get off the clock and get out of there. That way I got the tip share, but then I could also make sure, okay, I flipped all the chairs and I'm going to vacuum the whole dining room to make sure it's actually vacuumed, you know? Because it was the only way to like really to like catch a little bit extra money for the tip share on overtime, but it was also just so that things were getting done correctly. Because there were actually times I'd be coming back the next morning to open as well, or not even open, like to be the second busser, the mid or something. Oh yeah, the false wait. No, I'm not double sitting servers, so the guests have a better time. They don't know their table is open for the next 2 to 5 minutes before. Yeah, exactly. It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal. But yeah, but they will know if they sit at a table for 2 to 5 minutes and are not greeted. Correct. And that's why they only did 3 to potentially 4 table sections there as well. Yeah, that whole concept that they brought in about a false wait. It's like, no, it's not a false wait. You're saying it's a false wait because there is a table available, so seat it, right? But it's not a false wait if you're trying to ensure the quality of their service or the quality of their dining experience. Yeah, they'll sit there, and it's funny because where I work is even more casual in so many ways than like Olive Garden, because Olive Garden pretends it's something more than casual, but whatever. And even there, especially because I work in the lounge area where it's open seating, people will come in and like seat themselves, and they'll probably sit there for a whole minute, and you'll see them looking around like, oh, does anyone know we're here? Like, and it's like, well, first of all, you sat yourself. So no, technically nobody might know you're here because you never checked in at the door, so the host doesn't even know you're here half the time. Dining experience / service didn't translate to a spreadsheet. Like, yeah, of course. But on the second aspect of that, it's been a whole minute. And so yeah, even where I work, where it's people are not waiting most of the time, but if they wait that minute. Get me a roll. What the heck? Yeah. I think it's literally just so people don't spam caps all over the place, but otherwise that was fine. I like how his comment came through, but then it wanted to review yours. No, I'm shitting your pants. That's funny. But see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it feels like such a long period of time that I was there. Like, and partly because, you know, going through like multiple different positions and doing different things involved in that. Especially, like I said, after the 2020 situation, when we ended up with like all new management, short streams are illegal. This has not been a very short stream. For the Napoleon stuff? I got that through just communications with Patrick. On the Minecraft server back in the day, we used to do caps lock days where everything was said in cat. Great. Well, he's talking about Napoleon, Bad Napoleon or whatever. The Patrick W. Cutler. The guy I've sent him to most of you guys where he does like the stupid little skits. I'm pretty sure I've sent you those. Hasn't added you back. I don't know. Are you like in his server? Or? Manager texted me an hour before my shift to ask why no one was there. The other servers call off constantly. 2 servers on tonight, 1 in at 3 and me in at 5. I guess the other server didn't show up, so instead of trying to get in contact with her an hour ago, she waited around to see if she'd show up late, and then angrily texted both of us asking why there weren't any servers there. What? I don't know. See you in an hour? Yeah, actually I did. Well, okay, so I exist. Here's the thing. He's like super, I don't want to say out of touch, but in a way he kind of doesn't know what he's doing. So like I do modding there like here and there, like part-time. I make sure to check in and like look it over. And make sure everything's good. But there's another guy that he gave admin and he kind of set up everything for him. So Patrick himself doesn't do a whole lot there at the moment. I think he wants to do more. He's talked about that, but he's still figuring the whole thing out. He doesn't really know. He doesn't really know 100% Discord. I think he's still figuring all that out. So a little bit on autopilot there. The server's not super active at the moment. I think he's hoping to do more though. Yeah, he does the like the skits where he's like Napoleon Dynamite if he was like a middle-aged alcoholic and his life had kind of failed after the movie. I don't even know 100% of the Discord that I know. You know what's funny is so for me Discord I've had one for years, but I was always like, I don't really like this. What? I'm about okay. Have fun with that. Discord for me was like something it felt like I needed to have when I got into like YouTubing and stuff. And I was always like, man, I don't like this. I didn't like the format or any of that kind of stuff. I grew up using like Windows Live Messenger or MSN Messenger or whatever, and it was like so perfect and simple. It was just a messenger application. You added friends and you could do group messaging as well, but like it went away. It wasn't a resource hog. It had all these cool little basic features and stuff, but yeah, like you got a little notification when someone messaged you, you popped it up, and you were in a chat. It was literally just a chat box with that person, and then you could close it, and then I don't know, it was super simple and easy. So it was more than 2 weeks ago. Oh, months, never mind. But yeah, I was like, I can't stand this thing. I only had it to specifically like if I needed to talk to people because I was doing content creation and stuff, and a lot of people use Discord. I was like, whatever. So I had one, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to get a lot more active in doing all this streaming and content and networking and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so I need to set up my Discord, because I ended up like seeing what other people were doing with it. And so once I because I'd had a server that whole time, but it was literally just me and Pwn Star on the server, and neither one of us used it at all, ever, for like 2 years. TS3 was what I had, then Raid, and Skype was cool. I had Skype, but the further back you go, the applications were a lot more like focused on simple messaging back and forth, like communication. They didn't necessarily have all these servers and all this kind of stuff. But now that I've like set one up and like got into like how you can customize it and make it work and everything, I'm like, all right, this is actually pretty cool. and it like makes sense, I guess. Because at first I was like, this is really annoying to use. I do still wish it had like a, like on the phone it's a little bit more like what I expect, but for like on the desktop, a condensed efficiency version, you know, where it just pops up your DMs or something, you know, you don't have to open it up for everything else. Raid call was the Discord before Discord, and actually, I mean, I've heard that, but like I wasn't doing like PC gaming and stuff, so it wasn't a big thing. Now with Discord's less just a gaming thing, and is like you're all these other things, and I don't know. Now that I'm figuring it out, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, and you can kind of just, you have so many options for customization and how you set things up to work, and it makes more sense now. So I'm okay with it. Right. I just I think it would be a useful setting, or like option, like something you could toggle on and off, where instead of opening up like the whole like full screen application and doing those, which, you know, like I said, now that I like understand it and everything, it makes sense and it works. But I wish it still had that option where if I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be doing anything with servers, I'm not going to be doing anything with all this other stuff, I just want this to act as a direct messaging app with like voice calls and stuff. And if you could like toggle that on, and it would just like close everything else off and like condense it down, and that was all that popped up, that would be cool. But it works how it works. Raid call had it, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like most things were like that back then. Skype was like that as well. And then when you go back, like I said, with like Windows, like Messenger and stuff, that's what it was. You know, it was like you had a friends list, and you could pop open a chat with somebody and then close it. And then you could do group messaging as well, but most people weren't really doing that. You were just sending messages back and forth. But yeah, it would just like tab down, and you pop open your little messenger box. Send your messages, talk. You could do video chats and stuff like that too. You could even play games. It was actually kind of cool, because back then there was a thing, I don't even think they have it anymore, but it was called MSN Zone, and it was just a bunch of free games, whether it was like Hexic or chess, checker, like a bunch of random little board games and stuff, like strategy games and stuff. And so you could have like Windows Messenger open, talking to someone, and you could invite them to play a game with you, and you just sit there and like play chess and have it open. But more than likely, your PC is like I always say, my laptop is a pretty good laptop, and Discord runs fine until I have to have like Streamlabs open. That's the main thing. Like I normally sit and have Discord open But getting the overlay to work does feel insane. Yeah, normally I have to have, I just have Discord open while I'm sitting here using my computer. See, I still can't because I have it on Xbox. So, but anyways, when I'm browsing, doing work on social media, you know, my whatever, almost everything I do, I'll just have Discord open and it works fine. It's just when I open Streamlabs, because like even now with Streamlabs, and I have two different browsers open. I got the one here that I'm looking at Reddit on, and then I got the one that my music is on. And with those things running, I'm at 48% CPU. Oh, 57% CPU. 50%. So I'm hovering around 50% CPU usage. Everything's still running fine, but that's where it is. If I were to open Discord and try to use that, I'd probably be getting a CPU usage warning. Dungeon Siege. I have no idea what that is. You know what's actually sad about Hexic though, Agent Tomcat, is it's not available anywhere. Like the only place it's available is on Xbox, and I don't think it's a Microsoft thing. I'm pretty sure it's an EA thing. Because the reason it's still available on the store is I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, what is this? Oh, okay. Old PC top-down dungeon crawler. Flashmuseum.org. Hexic. Let's see if this opens. I might have to exit my other browser. Come on, load. But see, right now this loading up, this is because I have Streamlabs running. Doing the streaming. This is why I talk about having a GPU would be nice. Because that's what the streaming software and stuff wants. It's gonna hack your computer. No. Come on. So yeah, this will probably open eventually. Anyways, Microsoft had bought like the rights to have Hexic on Xboxes, and so on the Xbox 360, every single hard drive came with Hexic pre-installed, and then it obviously was available in the store. If you delete it, you could re-download it. It's still actually available. The same one from Xbox 360. It's just any streaming software. Is just because you're doing the whole like, there's a lot of processes going on there. Like it's taking your microphone, it's managing all your audio sources, your different, all this stuff on my screen. It's like running all that. So, and then it's putting that through, like sending that off through a server to stream. So it's just, I just don't have the kind of hardware that's necessarily made to do this. in anything more than basic format. It runs pretty well when I'm playing my emulator and I'm playing Pokemon, so that's cool. But yeah, so Hexic, the original, is still available. No, actually, the GPU is a lot more. That's one of the main problems. There's a lot of like graphic processing going on. Well, or it would use the GPU, but because it's not, it's basically forced to do everything through the CPU and the onboard graphics processing. But basically any of your streaming, editing software, all that kind of stuff, like, because this has a good CPU. Like, this actually does have a pretty good CPU on it. The problem is everything is being done through it. There's no offload. There's no other processor to offload all these other things that it would normally be doing. like even the browser and all this kind of stuff too, or when I open a game or any other sources, that stuff, there's a lot of that processing that would be going on through the GPU, and I don't have one. It has the, like, they call it the you know, on board, but that's not real. It's not real. That's why gaming PCs make really good PCs for streaming and like video editing and stuff like that, because they're geared toward having like really like fairly powerful GPUs, and the GPUs and higher throughput on processing all that crap that's going on. I don't know if this is going to open. Well, it's supposedly here. Either way, if you want to play it. Powered by Ruffle. Yes! Source. I wonder if this would... I bet you this doesn't work. It's probably a dead link. What? Is this gonna open? Oh. Damn it. I thought for a minute there was some hope. Either way, yeah, it doesn't seem to be available anywhere for like purchase. So I guess that Flash Museum might be a place to check it out. I might have to do it later. But oh well. Either way, I'm probably going to go ahead and shut it down for tonight. I ran about an hour longer than I was intending to tonight. I want to go chill and have some snacks and watch some stuff myself on YouTube. And then I got to work tomorrow. So, tomorrow night though is Warzone on Twitch. And then they're going to be adding ranked Verdansk on Thursday. I know not many people that I play with are interested in that, but for me, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Because it's not just the fact that it's ranked. Work is evil. Yes, I was thinking that too when I said I laid down for a nap right before I got on, and I kept hitting the freaking snooze button, and that's why I started later than I wanted to. You know what I was laying there thinking. In probably the last 5 to 10 minutes, I was like, quote unquote, sleeping. I was like, man, I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to work anymore. And I'm pretty sure we all have that thought. Honestly, it's not like it's a special thing, but I really was. I was like, man, I really just don't want to work anymore. Can I just stream all the time? That would be great, actually. Like I wouldn't care if it was every single day. Every single day I had to get on a stream for 6 hours or something to make money. I'd just rather do that. I'd just rather do that. I'm just laying there thinking this, knowing that it's not gonna happen. True. True. There is that option. There are guys out there now who have started creating AI OF accounts. Just start begging and insulting anyone who doesn't do. Why did I think of that? Darkside Phil, Wings of Redemption, any of these lol cows. Why didn't I think that's, and that's actually part of like my motivation is seeing that there's people that do that. I just opened my browser again to YouTube, and I on my personal account, I see there's my stream. Revel Indigo, 6 people watching. Hell yeah, there's 6 people there. And then I was like, oh look, Ricky Burke, 420 people watching. Like, damn. But anyways, take people's money and call them classists for wanting it back. You just hate poor people. Are we rating? I don't actually think that works. I don't know how I would even do that. I think I would have to have... oh, what the heck did I just do? I would have to have the YouTube stream manager open, which I don't because I'm using Streamlabs. I actually have no idea how to do a raid. Otherwise, I would probably find somebody cool and drop my viewership on them. My whole 3 other people. 100%, I have no idea how to do that. I would have to look it up. That is not Raven. That is an AI generated... That's funny, though. It does look like Raven, doesn't it? Like maybe like Cyberpunk Raven. Raid Shadow... Actually, I would love to have Raid Shadow Legends come around with a sponsorship. Because whether you like them or not, apparently they're pretty generous with their sponsorships. But I was making a bunch of these when I... Yeah, they're still a thing. They still exist. Actually, even I think like JonTron still gets like sponsorships from them. Yeah, and money. Who cares? If they want to give me money, I'll have a Raid Shadow. I'll start a profile and say, hey, play with me on Shade Ratto Legends. Yeah. But anyways, this is I was making a bunch of these logo things. I was just like messing around with it because I had a site and it doesn't work anymore. But they were specifically for making logos. So you could input what you already have and then create with prompts, create environments around it. Shade Ratto Legends. Good job. I gotta change the limiter on that. Don't tell me what to do. But yeah, so I made a bunch of them because I knew that I was going to be using the browser. And so having a wallpaper in the browser would be cool to have up on, like right now, I'm literally just sitting here doing nothing else, but the browser's open. So there's something on the screen. And so this was like my favorite. And yeah, I guess it does look like Raven. This is the full picture though. So there's no face or bottom part of her, but I have a bunch of other ones that are cool. Let me see. I could share a specific window. Let me see if I can do this. Sometimes I like messing with these things on the fly. That's so Raven. But no, it totally looks like Raven, but like a cyberpunk version of her. Here we go. So I think I can window capture. Okay, so I think I've got this open. And do share a specific window, add source, add a new source. Let's do this because I'm only going to use it for this stream. And then I select the window. Let's see what we got. Oh, photos, capture method automatic. Done. Is it showing it? No. That's stupid. It's funny because you can see my mouse. Wait, where's the rest of my stuff? Oh, it's covering it. That's why. So that did not work. Interesting. You know what? Actually, I think I can make it do like a folder. Perhaps. Media. Okay, maybe not. Either way, I just want to show you guys like another example besides the one I have. So like I made a whole bunch of cool ones. Like here's one for instance. Whoa! Did that pop up on screen? There it is. Okay, it's just delayed. So like I made a whole bunch of these. Like I have dozens of Indigo at Night and Rival Indigo and like RI, you know, for Rival Indigo and stuff. So I made like a whole bunch of these. And some of them are really cool. But for whatever reason, I decided this one. Because it just looked cool having the chick standing there. I'll have to see if there's a way I can like attach folders that I can just open a folder and be able to show images or files from. That'd be kind of cool. Dungeon Siege. For me, I'm probably done with everything for tonight. I'm going to go laze out, veg out, whatever, until I get a shower in a couple hours. But the RI stands for Rival Indigo. Okay, this whole time I thought it was Royal... Wait, what? Royalton Industries. Lame. No, but if you put it up, I can open it on my computer though, and just have it as a viewer. If you go on Twitch or something. Real ignorant. Boom, got him. I built Royalton Industries from below the ground up. Real ignorant. That's great. Roasted. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have my oatmeal cookies and chalky milk. I hate saying it like that, but sometimes it feels appropriate. My chalky milk. How did you get my purple, Agent Tomcat? That's one thing that kind of sucks is on Streamlabs it assigns the chat box random colors. Like I don't think there's actually a way to set it. I've messed with it. It assigns like random colors to people, so I don't get to be purple. Hang on a second. I hate to be receiving of such a solid burn. HTTPS twitch.tv/goldenlocksforge, right? It's the only way to say chalky milk. That's Bennett's Twitch channel. If you'd like to check him out. And then yeah, if you end up streaming, because I'll be on my computer for a little bit, just doing my typical maintenance crap on everything. I'll pull it up in a tab and I'll just leave it there when I go and lock everything down. But yeah. Yeah, somehow I got pink, which is fine. I like pink too. Before the Raptors come home. The business and pleasure. Well, I end up, so even once I shut everything down and I'm done, like I'm like, okay, time to go check on everything in Twitch. Nothing here. Check Kick. Nothing here. Twitter. What's going on Twitter? Oh, what's going on, everything and what, yada, yada, yada. So before I shut down actually, I just turned my laptop on lock and then it goes to sleep eventually. So I will usually pull up people's Twitch or Kick streams or whatever and just leave them tabbed up so they get the viewers. So, but either way, I'm gonna shut it down. Let's throw up the old socials link, the Dubby link, because those will be on screen. And then I'm going to just go ahead and do a lurk. Goodbye bye. See y'all later. All this time I've had music playing and I've had the desktop muted. Well, all this time, like the last 20 minutes. Jesus Christ. Amateur.